Today we're checking out the farming control system. This is Moza's first dedicated farming sim controller. To start things off, I'm using the joystick in Farming Simulator 25 and loading these bales onto the back of a truck. If you're just starting out like I am, it's a bit challenging at first, but it gets more rewarding as you get a hang of the controls. The joystick feels good and it works smoothly for operating machines like this telehandler. The thumbstick on top is also handy for quickly panning around to check the surroundings and for changing views. There's plenty of controls within reach, which makes it a lot more immersive, especially when using the steering wheel and joystick together, rather than just using a keyboard and mouse. So let's take a closer look at what you get. In the box, there's a user manual, the base of the main controller, the left stick, the right side joystick, a USB cable, an extension plate. There's also some hardware for the setup. The assembly is pretty easy. Just push the two sliders level to the back and install the left stick. Then there's a small screw that goes in from the side to secure it. For the 3-axis joystick, this aligns with the socket, plugs in, and then we just tighten the hand screw and it's ready to go. Now, if this device looks familiar, it's because it's been adapted from Moza's flight sim range. It's based on the MTQ throttle quadrant. The sliders are similar on the left side, but the right side sliders have been swapped out to make space for the joystick. This joystick actually uses the same connection as other flight sim sticks in their range, so you could even swap it out to use one like the MA3X, the MHG, or the MH16. As it's based off the throttle quadrant, another thing I wanted to check was whether the two levers under the left stick could be used as two separate axis controls. But on a closer look, there's only a single potentiometer inside connected to one of the levers, which means there's only one throttle axis available. So taking a look at the controls and inputs, we've got the main 3-axis joystick with X, Y and Z axis. That's up, down, side to side and twist. It gives you a good amount of control for moving arms like on this telehandler. Up top there's a thumbstick with a push function, and this is useful for panning around and switching views. We've got 4 buttons just below for mapping your most used functions. There's also 2 more buttons on the front side, which I've mapped to open and close the bale clamp. Over on the left stick, it has a center scroll dial, which is good for setting cruise control speed, and pushing it in turns on and off the cruise control. You'll also find another 6 buttons, which are good for secondary functions. This stick also moves forward and back as a slider, although with pedals and a steering wheel, I didn't really need to use the slider for my setup, but you could use it as a throttle for forward and reverse, or maybe something else that uses a sliding axis. Now, for adjustment, the left stick has a tensioner, so we can adjust the tension via the side screw. This gives a lighter or firmer feel to the lever with more or less resistance when moving. While there's a tension adjustment on the left side stick, there's no adjustment for the 3-axis joystick, so the tension set is what you get. While it feels pretty good, I actually wouldn't mind it being a touch lighter. On the main control box, this is basically split into 4 sections. On the far left, there's 4 plain push momentary buttons. Next to that, we've got another 6 momentary buttons, and these ones are backlit RGB, so you can change the colours in the software. We've got 2 rotary encoders with unlimited rotation and push function. There's a 5-position rotary switch, and below that a 2-way side-to-side momentary switch. And along the bottom there's 3 latching on-off switches. So there's plenty of controls and inputs built into the device. In the game you can even map button combinations, which will give you even more inputs. For example, I've got pressing button 7 set for attaching or detaching a tool, and pressing 7 and 9 together set for entering or exiting a vehicle. I also like that everything is numbered, so while you're learning the button layout, you can see what buttons you need to press via what's shown on screen. Around the back you'll find 2 connection ports with a USB and an RJ socket. I'm just using the USB connected directly to a PC for my setup. For mounting, underneath you'll find a total of 8 threaded holes with 6 smaller ones and 2 larger ones. The extension plate that's included is used to adjust its position, so you can move it forward or backwards when mounting onto something like this table clamp. At the bottom, there's also rubber pads on each corner, so it can be used on a desk without sliding around. For my desk setup, I'm using the controller attached directly to a table clamp, and just beside that, I'm using the Moza R3 wheelbase with the truck sim mount. This adjustable table mount works well with truck sims and this game for getting a flatter steering wheel angle. Speaking of the steering wheel, one thing I changed in the Pithouse software for this game was to increase the spring return. This helps the steering wheel return to centre, which makes it feel much better when driving vehicles. So most of the time I've been testing the controller attached to the table clamp and using the steering wheel, which has been a really good setup. But I also wanted to see how it would work if you only had a keyboard and mouse. So I put the farming control system next to my keyboard and mouse on the desk. This kind of setup would be good for quick gameplay, especially if you want to keep a clean, simple setup for casual gaming. While this setup works pretty well, I did notice there's some side-to-side tipping of the base if you hold the joystick too high or use too much force. So that's where I think a slightly lighter spring in the joystick would be good. Otherwise, it's probably best to use it mounted with a table clamp. It's also able to be used on the left-hand side, and the main 3-axis joystick and other controls are all still easy to use. But I did find when it's on this side, the angle of the left stick is not as comfortable as when it's on the other side. So the farming sim control system is plug and play, and in the Pithouse software there's just some calibration, axis and button modes, button brightness, and the button colour settings. For Farming Sim 25, the controls are recognised automatically, so getting started needs very little setup. It's good to see most of the controls are ready to go, because there's so many to choose from in this game. While I've been using it, I've mapped a few extra controls like the joystick for walking around when outside the vehicle, and set up some of my preferred controls for vehicle operations on the joystick, which have all worked well. Using the farming control system, I really like how much easier it is to control machinery. It is challenging at first, but does get rewarding as you get a hang of the controls. The setup is straightforward, and it's basically a plug and play device. There's plenty of controls and inputs for most machines, but you might want a second joystick if you want a more realistic way to operate machines like excavators that use 2 sticks. Overall, I think the farming control system works best for single stick machines like front loaders, telehandlers, and articulating arms, where you need to lift, lower, or move things around with finer movements rather than just relying on a keyboard and mouse. Once it's set up with the steering wheel and pedals, I had a lot of fun using it to control vehicles, move bales, cut down dead trees, and load logs. And it definitely adds an extra level of immersion to the farming sim experience. Let us know what you think about the farming control system. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching.